Okay, our next observation is this guy right here. Okay, and I'm going to give you guys, just step in 2 groups because we don't want to crowd in too close. I'm going to give you just a minute to look and just observe this like you're observing your fish. And when I say that, it's an essay thing. Really look at it and remember what you're seeing. Look at the leaves. Determine if it's simple versus compound if you can. Look at the fruiting structures and then move back and we'll let other people do it. Okay?
Where's the vine?
It looks like that is. It looks like it's got it wrapped around. It's suspected six.
I guess it's shrub.
No, I'm kind of hungry now. That's really fun. Actually leaves like a really pleasant aftertaste.
Is this whole thing a leaf then? Like this whole structure? Because I only see like a bud at the bottom. Right
Yeah,
here.
you are right on that.
So like,
Oh, is this the bud right here?
So it's a whole
looks like it may be.
alternately compound.
Well, that one definitely looks like a bud.
Okay. But I would assume that we'd just go.
It's an admiral butterfly.
Okay, so we have this plant that we're observing together. So let's start with the first couplet. Is this tree-like, usually with a single main trunk, or shrub-like with several stems? Does anybody know what this actually is? Oh, well, I'm talking about the habit.
Parasite. No. What do you mean habit?
It's like a creeping vine. Is that what you
Okay,
Oh.
it's a vine, all right? Notice that this is twining and vining up another plant, okay? It is not a tree, and technically it is not a shrub, but if we had to determine if it has a single main stem, we would need to find where it roots at, right? And frankly, I might amend this key to put shrub or vine-like on that second couplet, okay? Because it's not a shrub, but it is more shrubbish, I guess, existentially, than a tree. So we're going to choose key B for this one. Okay, now as we use this key, you're going to start to memorize it. And you'll know the order of characters that you need to look in. So the first one is, are the leaves scale or all-like, or reduced to spines, or are they broader? Usually this is
Broader.
They're broader, so we're going to 8. Plants coalescent or acaulescent? Coalescent, right? This definitely has a distinct stem. So we're going to 9. Leaves opposite or alternate?
Alternate.
Opposite. Okay. So observe this spot right here. Notice how you've got these 2 appendages coming off of the same node. This is a really good example of opposite. Is it always that way? For the most part, it's opposite. Or we could even consider it world. But it's definitely opposite. So let's go opposite. That goes to 10. Leaves compound or simple? Compound. Does anybody disagree? Leaves compound. 11. Plants usually sprawling or climbing woody vines. Plants not sprawling or climbing woody vines. We established that this is definitively a vine, and it is climbing and sprawling on these trees. 12. Flowers purplish blue, leaves more than once compound. Versus flowers yellow, leaves once compound, meaning they're ternate or pinnate ternate. Okay, do we have any flowers? No. Okay, that is why creating a key, when you're writing a couplet, you usually want to include more than one type of character, so that if you don't have flowers, you can use something else to distinguish that couplet, okay? We have fruits. We don't know the flower color. Let's focus on the leaves then. More than once compound or once compound. Oh, here's a perfect example right here. This is the petiole, and here it's splitting between two. Here's the rachis. It's splitting between two, but it's only once compound. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Hold on. Oh, I just broke it off. So looking here, we can actually see that it has little petioles, so it is actually twice compound. Okay? So, this is then Clematis columbiana, Rocky Mountain clematis. Now, anyone who has their Woods book, their Van Buren book, I'd like you to open up to Clematis columbiana if you have your big book with you. I want you to see the flowers. Anybody notes the page number? Yell it out for us. 372. Okay, so if you look on your book, we have two major species here that we can look at. One of the reasons why you need to have this book or the Utah Flora is that this one is a little bit challenging to know for certain whether we're dealing with Columbiana or Orientalis. And so in that case, if you have made a determination, you often will want to go back to and read the source. And the definitive source is the Utah Flora, because you can read the description of the plant and check it against it to make sure that you have it correctly identified. Here, we don't have a full description of the plant. We have a partial description. Here it says that the Rocky Mountain clematis is a sprawling vine with woody perennial stems. The leaves are opposite, deciduous, petiolate, and bi- or triternate, with the terminal leaflet replaced by a twining tendril. Do we have that here? This one's not. This one's not. There's a leaf right there. That makes me suspect. I'm going to keep reading here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to read the description for Orientalis. Okay. Introduced vine, stems up to 3, leaves are ternate or pinnate ternate, leaflets are ovate, elliptic, lanceolate, margins entire, coarsely toothed or even lobed. Okay. This is actually, I believe this to be Clematis orientalis, because here it distinctly states in that Clematis or columbiana states that the terminal leaflet is replaced by a twining tendril. And there is clearly, when I'm looking at one of these full leaflets, it clearly has a terminal leaf. So we went wrong in our keying. So we'll go with the other one, which is what? What was the opposite one? Orientalis.
But I thought in your description it said the leaves entire was.
Let's read that too. Let's go back and look at that. The leaflets are ovate, elliptic to lanceolate, with margins that are entire, coarsely toothed, or even lobed. It goes from entire to coarsely toothed to lobed. It can be all of those things. And this one is clearly coarsely toothed on this little leaflet. Whoops, there, there, and with even some deeper lobes. So again, the most important thing is to read this against a description, because some of them are really challenging to identify. But we know that this is a vine, and so all of a sudden we're thinking, okay, we know it's got to be one of the vine species. There's many more trees and shrubs than vines. Okay. Any questions? Oh, by the way, some trivia about this one. if you had the chance to look, the flowers are incredibly beautiful in all of these species. And that's one of the reasons why this particular plant has been introduced into the United States. This is an invasive species now. And frankly, if I wasn't with you guys in class, I'd probably tear this out. We want to stop the spread of invasive species because they replace and push out our native species like Columbiana, Clematis columbiana. Okay. All right, so that's it. Notice the plumes on the fruiting. The fruiting structures are so fun and beautiful. They have these beautiful plumes that are designed to spread with the wind. And that's kind of it for that one. Any questions or comments on this species? This one is also on your to-know list. Okay? All right.